have another.
Sorry, say again, Sarah.
Is it time?
It's time.
It's
Yeah.
1 o'clock. Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Wait, where are my companions? People, are you there?
Yeah, we're waiting for the others. I sent them a wake-up call.
I'm sure they're awake.
There's some just entering now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Galit.
Shalom.
Hi, Toby.
She's saying that she can't. Galit and both Galit and Elad cannot connect. Let's answer them. I'm trying to get.
But Galit was in. I saw her in.
Galit was in. No, it was me, and my name accidentally was Galit. I have no idea why. Hang on.
Yeah, still people joining, I think.
Great.
Numbers are coming up.
We just want the panel to be here. Well, Jenny, maybe something personal. Just, yeah, thanks a lot for always being there for us. This is about the third, I think it's the third, maybe the fourth. More than a backup person, just being there. So thanks very much. I always forget to say it at the end because time is short. I'll save my global thanks in a while, but I wanted you to hear this. So
thank you.
Jenny, they seem to have technical difficulties. They've been writing that the link of the chat, the Zoom meeting, has been sending them to the registration form all the time.
So that when they've done that, they should have had an email.
No, they do. They tried via email as well. Both email and WhatsApp. I've sent them the link and I had no problems.
So once they've registered on the link comes as an email, a separate email from Zoom.
I know.
And then they should join with that.
I know, but it's also not working. Of course we know. I don't know what else to do. Maybe we should invite them. You know their Zoom names?
No.
Let's see.
It should let you do an email if you have them in your email list.
Okay. Any video? Hang on. Sorry, I'm going to mute myself. They say that they are filling out the form again, and and they press join, and then the form is again showing. Hang on, maybe she didn't fulfill all the.
why don't I just introduce myself to save a minute? Is that okay? So, okay. I'm Sarah Kapelovich. I'm a PT, a pediatric PT. I'm a senior BOBAS tutor, and it's my privilege to be on this a third time, and I have to thank the International Association of Academies of Child Development for initiating this. It's a great time, and we appreciate it even more here in this country at this particular moment. Things are sort of a little bit not quiet here, but we hope everything will go smoothly. If you hear a noise, we all have our computers in safe rooms, and within a few seconds, the noise will go away.
You're talking about a siren, or?
Yeah, I'm talking about a siren.
An alert, missile alert, yeah.
An alert, yeah.
Okay, perhaps I should start introducing myself to save time.
That'll be good. Yeah. That'll be good.
So, my name is Odelia. I have a BA in communication, sociology, and anthropology, and a master's degrees in communication. Oh, sorry, I just wanted to start perhaps from my disability. So my disability is CP. I was born with CP in my lower limbs, mainly my Achilles tendons. This means that I have had physical therapy and swimming all my life, and have also gone through 2 surgeries. One when I was 3 and one when I was 8 to lengthen my Achilles tendon. And mainly my disability is all about balance and spasm, and yes, I limp when I walk, and I always joke that when dating taller guys, they had to lean down and kiss me because I couldn't stand on my toes, and that when I'm prime minister, all staircases would have banisters. So this is my disability, and for a living, by day, I am working for the Ministry of Education. I'm in charge of exposing the pupils in Israel, kindergarten age to senior year, to fine art within the formal education system. I am the director of the film department, and I'm in charge of them getting acquainted with documentaries, with filmmakers, and it's great fun. So this is what I do during daytime. During nighttime, I am a vampirologist, a vampire expert. I have researched vampires as a cultural artifact, vampires on television and on film. And I give talks about the whole metaphor, vampires as a queer icon, vampires as creatures suffering from trauma and post-trauma. It is great fun. I am married, and I have 1 child. And I'm also very happy to be here and very happy for this opportunity to be here. I see that my companion Galit has entered. We're waiting for Elad. I'm sure he'll be here any second. Let's just see. Meanwhile, maybe I should talk about the topic of our lecture, because we have thought a lot about what to call our lecture. So the topic of our lecture, pardon me for looking sideways because I'm trying to find it here.
Why don't we just say the title?
Can you say the topic? Yeah, the title. I meant the title. Sarah, can you help me, please? Can you please say it and introduce the title? If you have it. So let's see who finds it first. We think you should know. This is the subject of the topic of our presentation. We think you should know things we learned from our childhood and teen experiences that can help the well-being of future adults. I'll just tell you that the whole 3 of us were swimming on the same team since we were children until we were teens in the Israeli Sports Center for Disabilities. The Israelis here know it as Moadon Ilan or Spivak. And this is how we met. We swam together, and we have not been in touch all these years. All of us have left swimming at one point or another while we were teens. And we just reconnected a few years ago because we really wanted to find each other. And preparing for this session was a very cathartic event because while talking, we all figured out that we have very similar experiences regarding our disability and our way in life. And we have had some great insights, insights that we would like to share with all of you that we think can be great help in bettering the future of children with disability. That's pretty much it. I'm waiting for...
Well, that's nice, because you're actually before the 5F generation, and you've just mentioned a few important F's.
Wait, somebody needs to mute down. Sorry, Sarah. Someone needs to mute his or her computer. Put everything on mute.
So you've just mentioned a few important F's. One is fun, and you mentioned friendship, and you mentioned swimming, which is fun, and fitness, but maybe it was not so much fun. So I'm sure you'll say something about that in a minute. So go ahead, and thank you very much.
Welcome. I don't see, should we wait? I wonder what we should do. Or should I start? I think perhaps I should start the first point. Jenny, do you have the slide to show of
yes, hold on 1 second.
Great. So we are going to talk about 3 main topics or meta subjects, and explain our insights regarding these topics. I will begin with the first topic. Hang on. So, empower the child to accept themselves. This is our first topic. And how do you do that? Hang on. Okay. Oh no, how do you do it? You acknowledge the child's autonomy. And how do you do it? So I will give the first insight and example. The first thing you all should do, and now I'm addressing everybody who's in the crowd. It could be parents, it could be people with disabilities, caretakers, etc., etc. So now I'm talking about give the disability a name, explain it age appropriately, and be honest and open about it. I'm going to give you the example of my parents, my wonderful parents, that since I can remember have always explained that what I was born with is CP. We could talk about it openly and freely. That helped me establish a sense of self, because I could always answer the often question of, why are you limping? What is wrong with you? So I knew exactly what I have. And the other thing that's good about talking things over is that I could tell them about my frustrations and difficulties and share with them everything, because it was acknowledged. I was acknowledged as a person with disability, and they acknowledged my pain, my everything. So the other thing they taught me, which is also highly important, is to look back at the people who are looking back at me. The fact that everybody has flaws or deficiencies, or the way that they treated my CP as another trait. I'm curly, I have glasses, I have CP. The other person walking down the street is a bit overweight, redheaded, and I don't know, we'll never know, but he probably has something too that is disabling him. So in that way, I was walking in the world with a sense of self and a sense of worthiness. I have a place in the world too. The other thing that they did that was very crucial was to teach me that it's okay to ask for help. It's not a weakness. It's a thing that you could use. It's a tool. Until this day, I asked random strangers on the street whenever I find my disability disabling me. I ask people at coffee places to carry my coffee to the table for me because of my balance issues. I have people helping me walk downstairs whenever I'm on the street and there's nobody there with me and there is no banister or it's a thing I cannot handle. In airports, other people carry my luggage or lift it for me. And first of all, I find people very willing to help, which is great. And the fact that asking for help is not humiliating me in any way have helped me a lot. I ask for help till this day from my parents. A few years ago, I had to do a flash mob for my best friend's wedding, and I was scared that I would ruin the whole thing. You know, it's coordinated movements, coordinated dancing. And on the video of the wedding, I would just, you know, mess up the line. So I asked my father or my mother, what should I do? And they just told me, signal the movements. You don't have to do them fully. You can just raise your hand like this instead of like this if you can't. And it will not ruin the video. It will still be harmonious to the rest of the people. So that have
Odelia, that sounds like real emotional health and maturity. Does it not depend on the stage when a parent accepts the fact that he has a child with a disability in order to be able to cope with it all?
You are so right, Sarah, and definitely so. And I was lucky. That's why I'm thanking them so much. My father even wrote a book about his experience raising. He wrote a children's book called Mother, What is the Meaning of the Word Exceptional? About a kid, much like the Little Prince, walking around the animal kingdom, asking animals to explain to him why is he called exceptional, and it's lovely. So yes, I was lucky. I had great parents, but the thing you can do as caretakers of all sorts, and this is our third topic, but I'll get to it right now, is support system. Help the parents get some support and some knowledge of how they should accept their child disability. Maybe, so we can't control everything. We can only give the option. And you're very right. It has a lot to do, but my upbringing had a lot to do with what I am today. So it is important.
Well, you'll be mentioning it. You'll be mentioning it in your third point again.
Yes, exactly. And here Galit was supposed to enter with her own. Yeah, Galit, go for it. Hello.
Hello.
So I was just talking.
Sorry. I'm so sorry. There were terrible technical difficulties when I tried to join in, but I'm here now. Just fill me in for a second where we're at.
Maybe introduce yourself because nobody knows, and I introduced myself already.
I'm sorry. Okay, so hi everyone. My name is Galit. I was born with CP. I'm 43 years old. I live alone. I'm completely independent. My CP manifests only in my lower extremities. It shows as a kind of limp where I walk, but I walk independently without any accessories needed. I'm a business owner. I'm a translation and localization expert. I specialize in technical and marketing materials, and some of my clients are top technology companies in the world. Again, I'm so sorry I'm late. This was completely unplanned, and it worked when I tried it before. It just didn't when the meeting started. I'm so sorry for being late.
Well, we're happy you're here, and I'll take some private lessons from you when we have a moment.
Technical support, you mean?
Just to say, we're also having some difficulty with being able to unmute and show the camera. So we're working on it, but I'm not sure why it won't allow him to unmute.
Okay. Is everyone, does everyone see me? Is my camera on? Because I can't see.
And Elad is here as well. Maybe it's time for him to introduce himself. Elad, are you?
Hi. I finally managed to.
Oh, it's working now.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello, Elad. Welcome.
Hi. Thank you. So I am Elad. I'm 43 years old. I'm married with 4 kids. I'm a partner on. This is not one of my kids. I don't know who talks right now. I'm a partner on one of Israel's largest law firms, and I also deal with CP, which comes into effect on some limping. And I think I interrupted Galit, so she should go.
Yeah, I was just going to say we all met. We were
I already told them. I told them because there was a lot of time to.
Yes, I know. Again, sorry
And
for
I'll tell
that.
you where we are now. We are just at, our first topic was acknowledge the child's autonomy. And I started, as we planned, with give the disability a name. I gave them the whole description of how it was for me growing up. And I think now it's your turn, Galit.
Okay, so and now let me jump in, because my parents had the exact opposite approach that Adelia's parents had. My disability was never really discussed at home, and they never really told me what exactly it was. I was aware, of course, that I have a disability. I thought it was completely physical, though. It was given a name in my late teens. When I was 18, I went to see a doctor, and he said CP, and it sort of fell on me like a ton of bricks. And I think that experience is why I agree with Adelia. I agree that it should be talked about very much, because I think it would have helped me if, as a young child and a teenager, I would have been able to give it a name. It would have helped me to explain it to people when they ask me, what is this limp? Why are you limping? Why do you walk like this? Why are you walking funny? Which I stumbled upon a lot of times. And so it's not that to say that I criticize my parents in any way. They did an amazing job, and they were incredible. But I think it would have been easier for me if I had a name to give it, which brings me to my next point, which is that not only the parents should talk to us. If you're a caretaker, there was, from my personal experience, at least as a child, my caretakers had a tendency to talk to my parents above my head. And I'm here to say, please don't do that. Please talk to the child, explain to them what they're doing there, explain to them what you are doing to them, treatments or procedures, and the reasons why. I mean, if during my treatments, someone would have told me, listen, I know this is hard and frustrating, but we're doing this so you could play with your friends, so you could better jump around, so you don't fall down as much, it would have been a really great help. So if you are a caretaker and you have a child with a disability, I can't emphasize enough how important it is to acknowledge them, to see them in the room, to talk to them, to explain to them what they're doing and why, because they're the ones doing the hard work, and they're the ones being frustrated when they can't do something. If they know that there's a goal to the work, they know what it will enable them to do down the line, how it would help them, it would help mitigate all the frustration and maybe the resistance. Yeah. Because it's, let me tell you, it's not fun.
Yeah, well, I think you've made a very, very important point here, dealing with resistance, because we know that that's always existing. And the other thing is, you mentioned, and that's important, and it's within the ICF, you tell the child that the goal is a certain occupation or an ability to do things that's related to the kids that he's playing with, and not that you're doing an important activity for the trunk, which is rotation or extension or something like that. You don't talk about their heads, you talk about something that they can relate to their daily life, and I think that's super. Thank you.
And also, I wanted to say another example that came up in our talks is the doctors that are treating us, and the fact that we were all part of the public health system. So, Galit, you want to say something about that?
Yes, which is, thank you, because that's an important point. I was treated in a teaching hospital, and my orthopedic surgeon had, in some of our sessions, he had students, and they would all gather around me. He would have me lying on the bed and move my legs in certain ways, and so showed them certain things, or asked me to walk around so they could see. And never in that entire process has anyone acknowledged that I'm there. Has anyone told me, look, I'm doing this because I want them to learn, because I want them to see certain things, or even I don't know, I think he introduced me by name at the beginning, but never anything more than that. And I have to tell you, that was one of the most troubling and possibly humiliating experiences I had growing up, because I felt like a guinea pig, so to speak. I wasn't a person in the room. I was a disability to be looked at and prodded. And that's just awful. So
It also
please, even if you do that, please include the child in the process. I think that's incredibly important.
Well, maybe asking permission would be a good idea.
And maybe thanking would be a great idea. Thank you for allowing us to.
Yeah.
It brings
a lot easier.
And also, I wanted to point out that now I forgot what I wanted to say, but it does bring me to I wanted to tell you all that we haven't continued swimming or doing any kind of exercise. I mean, okay, you know what? I'll speak for myself. For me, because of the resentment I felt, even though I knew physical therapy, I knew why. Swimming, I also knew why, but it wasn't enough. I mean, again, I can't continue it. I don't want to continue it. It's something undealt with. So it's a problem. As an adult, I do no exercise. I do not deal, because all the caretakers said we have to emphasize all the efforts before you continue the stop of the growth process. And then when I was 18, that's it. I just quit on working on my disability. I accepted it as for what it is. So that's one point. And that leads me to the other point, the other meta subject that we have on how to empower the child to accept themselves. Empower and enrich. What does it mean? It means to create positive experiences during sessions. It means to give positive reinforcement for any progress. I'll give a small example. When you go to a physical therapy session, according to my experience, because the time is limited, you always focus on the next thing you need to do, next ability you need to learn. There's no time. If you all took the time, whatever kind of character care you are, to repeat in the first 5 minutes, in the last 5 minutes, it doesn't matter. Things we did right the last time, or even just talk about it, it would give us motivation to continue handling with confronting our frustration. So that's a thing. And it's also true for parents when they see us do things and give us positive experiences. Elad, I think the mic is.
Yes. I would like to address something that relates what Odelia just said to positive experience. We all went to a very important center that helps us deal with our physical difficulties. We had swimming courses, we had judo, we had basketball even, and that all focused on our physical difficulties, and it actually tells you, look, you have a problem, you're disabled, and now we are going to fix you or mend you in some kind of way, and that's fine, and that's great, and as we all said, the people who took care of us did a great job. But the point is that what it makes you, and now I'm looking at the psychological end of it, is look at yourself as a disabled or as a person who needs mending. And it doesn't make you look at yourself, including your disability, as some kind of a whole, some kind of a person with lots of features, and the disability is only one of them because it focuses on your disability. So in a center like that, what we all thought that could have been helpful, as we talked about it among ourselves, is to also include things that are not related to the disability or to your physical disadvantages. Things like that can help you discover other skills which are not related to disability, like art or like playing some kind of a musical instrument, and if they do it in a center like this, so the disabled person can look at himself as a person with advantages and disadvantages, and not only one disadvantage which requires mending all the time. I hope I managed to explain myself.
I think the point, let me try to sharpen that, is help us find our strong suits. There are things that we are actually good at, that we are great at. Help us find them. Don't only focus on improving us in our weak points. Help us find the strong ones that could make us feel as capable people.
And well, yeah, and that's important. And you could do that actually, because in that sports center, you could create an environment where the kids come in and they choose what they want to do. By doing that, they tell you what is easy for them. That's important for you to know. And then you can work around it and offer in stages something which you have reached an agreement with them that maybe they would like to try, but they have to agree to do that. So choose, give a choice. And that's up to us. That's up to us to create an environment where a child can choose, but at the same time can also benefit from the things that he chooses. Otherwise, it'll tell you a lot about, if you give them a choice, a lot about their likes and dislikes and difficulties.
Yes.
So give a choice.
Galit, maybe you should talk about the next point.
Yeah, and then the final point under this subject is setting reasonable goals together.
Wow.
And by which I mean setting goals that are achievable with a disability when you do. I'm not saying don't push the child to their limits. I'm not saying don't help them maximize what they can do. I'm saying acknowledge the fact that there is a disability and there are things that they will not be able to do. Let them know that it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
It goes to mitigating frustration, because if I can do everything, which is what my parents told me, then why can't I do this? And if I encounter things that I can't do, that I physically can't do, realistically, then the frustration and the guilt about it are so strong that it's a very strong counter effect. So when you set the goals, make sure you set goals that are achievable, that are within the realm of realistic acknowledgement of the disability.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So would you include setting goals, the parents?
You mean include them in the process of setting goals, or setting goals?
Include them in setting the goals that are, say, important and realistic to achieve by the end of the summer.
Yes, of course. I think they're a very important factor, because
Mm-hmm.
while the work is done in sessions, life happens outside of them as well. There are certain things that you do, that you encounter only in the outside world, and those are factors that are important to time in.
Mm-hmm.
Something that Odelia said before, we never talked about it before, but it was interesting in my view. I also went to physiotherapy when I was about 7 or 8, and actually, at the end of stuff, I really hated it. I'm almost not doing any kind of physical practicing myself today. And parts of it is because it was a bad experience, not because she did something bad, but because I didn't want to go there. It was all the time. It was some kind of like a race against myself, and it wasn't positive, even though it had some kind of positive outcomes. But when you're not part of it, actually, when it's something that you have to do, and it's something like it's done to you, you must go. some kind of physiotherapist is working on your body, if whether do you want it or not. It gives a not positive experience, and if we could feel some more choosing part of the process, it's process that we are participating in. It's a process that we are partners in. It could have been a little more helpful, I think.
So what you're actually going back to is what you've mentioned in your first part, which is mediated thinking. That means not forcing you to do something, giving you a chance to say, I hate it, I don't like it, explaining in a better way maybe why this might be a good idea right from the very beginning. And
also
not
by positive,
actually...
yeah, sorry.
Pardon? Go ahead, Adelia.
I know I said that by creating positive experiences, it will also motivate. So it's talking in
Exactly.
Show and tell, right? And the other thing, maybe we should work on the implement support systems. Elad, you were maybe move on to the next topic because we're...
Yes, when we had another topic that we wanted to discuss about, and this topic comes out of this center we were part of. And it was a very important center, as we said, but we came there to swim or do other sports. We swam and then we went home. We didn't have a lot of opportunities to communicate with one another. So now the feeling of the handicapness when you are a teenage and when you are a child and a teenage is a feeling of loneliness. You feel like you are the only one who is passing through whatever you are passing through. You feel like you are the only one who encounters the difficulties with the healthy society. And this is a very difficult and lonely feeling. Now, the one thing we found out when we all talked about before this convention is that we all actually shared the same experiences. Now, if we knew that when we were teenagers, I think it was much easier for all of us. So what we thought is that there should be some, in a center like this, there should be, instead of, again, trying to focus on your physical difficulties, we could have met with each other. There could have been some kind of support group in which we all sit, we vent our difficulties, we talk about this, we talk about these difficulties, we find out together strategies to deal with these difficulties. This also could have helped. And another thing that relates to this is to give us the possibility to meet people with similar handicapness, which are adults. Because one of the most troubling questions, I think, is how will you live your life with this disability? How will you end up? What will be with you? And it's very easy to look at the disability as something that may affect strongly your entire life. But if you see someone who has similar disability and is adult and he has like a good job and he is married and he actually came eventually to the same place we all came now in our 40s, that could have given a great relief because you know that you have some kind of future, that you are able to succeed. And this is something that is very difficult to look at when you're a teenager dealing with disability.
And I'd like to jump in here and say the same goes for the parents. I can only imagine how scary it is, how worrying it is to have a child with a disability, to have a child with special needs. I think parents should, they should have support groups of their own to vent among themselves with parents that have kids like theirs, and B, meeting an adult like us that has the same or similar disability as their child can have such a mitigating effect on those fears and those anxieties and the worries of what will become of them, because you can see that they can live to be successful, independent adults. You can see that they can have a good life. And I think as a parent, that could go a long way to helping you deal with your own fears and anxieties. Looking at it as an adult, I think that's very important.
Well, we had a comment here or a question how important it would be to implement emotional support early on. And there was something that Elad said that he wanted to add something or make a correction of something. Is that right, Elad? Is that what you wanted?
I just said that the person who asked that question is correct, that this is exactly what we're trying to say. The place that we were at was a very good place, as I said, but he tried to mend us and he tried to only address our physical difficulties, while the mental and the mental difficulties are not as less hard, and actually they are even harder. So if this place would have given some kind of an answer to the emotional distress, that could have been very good, because the emotional distress is not at least in our case, is even greater than the physical distress.
And I also
there's
like
something, excuse me 1 minute, Odelia, if I may. There is something that you have not mentioned. I believe that all of you were mainstreamed. You went into regular schools.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes, we all were.
So that you were mainstreamed with typical children. But for your leisure, you went to a special sports center.
Some kind of,
yes.
Right. So my question is, it's a thought that what do you think of going to regular fitness places?
Okay, Elad, you were just talking about it before, right? The Pilates experience?
Going to a regular fitness place. Of course, that with a person that is aware, was not going to push you, but is going to work with you and empower you.
I don't think we needed another person to empower us. I think a gym or a regular fitness place is great. Yes, but this is we're just trying to talk about places who deal with our disability. Of course, if someone on his own time goes to a gym, it's great.
No, I want to share a different answer.
I was looking to find out, would you recommend in your community setting for the community to accept you guys into regular fitness centers?
Wait, first of all, can I answer that? Can I just say something different? First of all, what do you mean accept and not accept? As a paying person, they would accept me anyway, wherever I'd want to go. I'm a client. The other thing, wait, before you answer, I want to share a different experience than Elad. Add something to it. I have tried yoga. I have tried to do many things with other people that are normal. And it was very hard for me because I kept comparing myself to the others and felt like a complete failure. Confronting my disability in such a way was horrible. So I was never persistent. And again, I'm telling you, I need to have physical, I need to do something physical. I'm growing old and my body is crumbling. And my percentages of disability has gone up the past few years. I mean, not in the technical, clinical way. I'm just feeling so much more disabled than I used to feel. So it's horrible for me. I really have to start the whole process again. And it's, yet again, I'm not doing any exercise. And I know it is important and I know the benefits and I know. So for me, it didn't work doing it with other people. And And it brings me to
Just a second. Yes,
Yeah.
I did have a good experience on that perspective. I went to Pilates about 15 years ago, and I started doing Pilates. And at first, it was very frustrating because people there are very flexible, and how to say it, a bit less flexible. So looking at all these people doing what they do and trying to, I don't even want to say at the beginning, I didn't do as well as they. I just thought about maybe how could I do the same thing they are doing, and it was very, very difficult. And actually, I was about to leave, but the instructor told me, "Look, stop stop racing against yourself. You're not in a competition. Try to look at the last lesson you've been, and try to look at the improvement you had against yourself from the last lesson. Just look at this. Just look upon yourself." And this was actually a great tip. And
So
it actually
he empowered you a lot. That's another way to empower you.
She
So
made
let me jump in here and
stop thinking myself as a loser. Okay, so
let me jump in here just for a second and add. I actually go to a regular fitness center now as an adult, and I relate to everything that Odelia and Elad said. It is a hard thing. So my point here being, yes, it might be a good idea, but before you do it, prepare them to what they're about to meet. Maybe don't wait until the instructor maybe says to Elad, don't compare yourself to other people. Compare yourself to what you have achieved earlier. And say that out front. Don't compare yourself to other people. Maybe even be ready for the fact that people might stare at you a little bit because you look a little different. Maybe be prepared for the fact that you won't do as well as regular people in classes, which I think might help make the experience a little more bearable.
I also want to say something about the center that we were in. It encouraged competition. Neither Galit nor I started swimming. I think none of us started swimming in order to compete. And it was part of the plan. We were a team. We were competing all the time against each other or in national competitions for the disabled people. For me, it didn't help. Some other disabled people found a career, became professional athletes. That's fine, but not hating confrontation, hating competition, feeling like a loser, not it's so. This is for you caretakers. Maybe you shouldn't take everything. I'm not saying you did, but for the caretakers who do think competition is good, maybe think twice about it or ask the child. This is all about autonomy. If the child is competitive, why not? But if the child is not, then just make sure you listen to him. And I just want to say that all the points that we've just made, we would like to show the finishing slide and just go over them, and then we will open the session for questions. Before we run out of time,
Odelia, we have a comment from Ilan, who was supposed to be on the panel with, and his comment is that fitness rooms are not accessible. And that is a very, very valid issue. So while they have to be accessible to go into, just to reach that place, it has to be accessible inside as well. And fitness places are not about competition.
No.
Everybody chooses and works at their own speed. Perish the thought it would be competition.
No, thank you for that.
And then we had a very nice comment here from my colleague Lisa, and she says that the typical people don't do that great in fitness room either.
Okay.
So yes, I can second that. I can really
it's a nice point, but it really doesn't matter to us. It's a nice point to make. I admit it. It makes me smile. But it really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. That doesn't help me. The fact that you don't do as well, it doesn't really help me.
Yes, because we feel weak in that area from the beginning. So maybe
Disadvantage.
if other people are not perfect, it's their problem, but it's not helping my problem.
So
I think we should go to the slide, otherwise we won't make it.
So
Yeah,
listen,
right.
just to make it easier, and if there is anything you should take from this presentation is the slide. I mean, it's everything we've talked about summed up for you and for further use. And I'll just go through it and read it. And if you, and maybe if you want me to elaborate it, no, let me just read it and then we'll open for some questions, okay? So the title of our lecture was Things We Think You Should Know. Okay, so now that you know, here are some things you can do. Okay, first of all, our main goal is to empower the child to accept themselves, but how exactly do you do it? So you acknowledge the child's autonomy by, again, give the disability a name and room to discuss it. You know, since I come from the vampire world, the one way to kill a vampire is to shed light on it, to expose it to the light. So if you can talk about things freely and you can walk in the sunlight freely, then it really is empowering. The other thing is to be positive. The disability is not a disease or a disaster. Now, being a child, it's a process. Maybe at the beginning you will treat it as a disease or a disaster, not the caretakers that are very, well balanced or maybe, I don't know, everybody. So bear that in mind. And again, talk to the child, explain to him, make him feel like he's part of the process, the benefits and the costs. Do talk about the costs because it's very hard what we have to go through. The other subject was how to empower and to enrich. So again, you need to create positive experiences of success during sessions and give positive reinforcement for any progress, and use some of the session to show the progress and emphasize it. Enable the child to find their strengths. Do not focus only on improving weak points. Help the child find what they are good at so that they know the disability is not what they are all about. And by helping the child find is also in the professional disability centers, but also encourage the parents to take the child to explore what he's good at and what he wants to do. I'll give a personal example. Every time after swimming class, I went to the library with my parents, read 2 books there and took 2 books home. So that's how I figured out, that I like books and I like reading. So it's important as well. Set clear and reasonable goals together. Together is important, clear and reasonable is important. Implement support systems, which is, everything is important, but this is it was new to us as well, write down our insights. So implement support systems mean you have to have or try to get into support group for parents and for children, either led by professionals or not, and have even a support group for children and parents together, a place where they can freely share, vent, and talk about anything. Our parents had that unofficially in the cafeteria of our place. I don't know if we talked about it now, I don't remember. But while we were swimming, they were all sitting together and also exchanging information about disability rights and laws and everything. Also have therapy sessions. Psychological treatment is very important for everybody, but make sure whoever can get to the psychological treatment.
I have a question to you. It's important. How early do you think implementing emotional psychosocial sessions should be started?
Emotional what? Sorry?
Emotional psychosocial
Did you
sessions.
ask how early?
Emotional support. How early? How early for the child? How early for the parent? It's almost a rhetorical question. Sorry, Elad, you were saying?
Yes, they said that we are not expert, and it probably differs between one child to another, but maybe even 9 and 12 or
Wait. I have a different answer. I'm saying as soon as possible because there are professionals who are equipped in Israel, everywhere. There's a child development center dealing with children until the age of 6, and there are people who gives emotional therapy in these ages. It's art therapy, but as soon as possible. The minute you find out.
I think Elad has a point there, because speaking as a child, I was never offered any emotional support on the problem. I was offered a lot of physical help, but none of the emotional support. And I think the experience of being different is so strong and so emotionally taxing, especially when you're in your early teens and when you're a child, when you want to be like everyone else, when being like everyone else is essential. So I think, yeah, if not an early childhood, then at the very latest, early teens is a good place to start, if you'd ask me. Again, like Elad said, we're not experts.
Yeah.
And as for the parents, as soon as possible. The minute they have a diagnosis, I think it's very important.
Yes, I agree.
Well, that's really, you can't expand on it in this session, but do you need a diagnosis to start help? We had a previous session in listening and sharing where we discussed it. A parent that talked in that session said that as soon as a parent shows the difficulty, or the child shows the difficulty, and now we have something that's called floor time, where we start with infants.
We have only 4 minutes, and I think maybe we should focus on a question from the crowd.
No, wait, we just need to make the other last point, which was also
you have to finish on, yes.
Go ahead. Meeting adults with similar disabilities.
And that is one of the most important.
Exactly. That's why I wanted to emphasize it. Meeting adults with similar disabilities can help both the children and the parents. These adults can share how they face everyday challenges, broaden their horizon, and show them that it is possible to lead a good, full life with a disability. There is a future, and it's good. So that's it. Now we can open maybe the session for questions.
And that's the big overriding thing here about quality of life. The quality of life doesn't correlate exactly with the disability itself. You can be very, very disabled physically, and you can still have good quality of life. And that has to be known to families with a child with special needs.
Can I talk, please?
We have some things on the chat. Yeah, sure. Aya.
Okay. I always, when I have been in the elementary school, I took a part in gymnastic lessons, as I say it in Hebrew, שיעור התעמלות.
Physical.
I always tried, and there's no, I thought that I can do, all I can do, when I finished the BA in the Open University, I got also a bipolar disorder. This is a disease of genius.
Mm-hmm.
And when it took a few years that I know that I cannot work in a regular place, and now I work in a place. It's a club that we have to work a few lovely little works that we are doing our place. And
this is really important what you're telling us now, and you're actually raising a point that is.
And then I do okay. I have car driving, and there's place for me for parking, especially for me at near the club. And then I cannot do to wash the dishes in the kitchen, but I do something that I learned. I played a guitar concert of a classical compositor, and I explained about a movie that I have been learned about a few 20 years ago, and I do what I can. I play, I dance with them, I do what I can.
That's the main thing, Aya, that you do the best that you can in a very, very complex situation. We're coming very near to the end of our session, Aya, and I thank you very much for bringing up a point that did not come up until now, and that's the individual complexity. So we thank you very much, and we'll now hear if there are any other comments that all of us want to hear, including you, Aya, and thank you.
Yes, and I know that to meet my disability, what I can do and what I cannot do.
Yes, that's important, that you
Yes,
know exactly your limitations, but it's very important that you know, first of all, what you can do. So
yes, and so also
we thank you again for
the
saying
problem
that.
of the
Because we are short in time, we need to move on because
I want to share something with you, Aya. We have very many other comments, so please let us relate to them. Odelia, you want to take some of them?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Wait, Sarah, do we have time? Because it's already 2 o'clock. I would love to, but it's up to
Yes,
you.
well, I'll just take that then. If you had to choose, you, dear panel, if you had to choose 3 core words of what's important to take home for all of us, what would you say? 3 core words.
I think it's exactly the slide. I mean, autonomy, empower,
Yes.
support system.
Yes, yes, and I have another one, a 4th one. I put down quality of life because that's the overriding thing. That's
Can I say something? All these,
about.
But Sarah, it's exactly that. All these contribute to the fun, friendship, fitness, family, and what else have I forgotten? Friendship. So all the things above, it's exactly what they give us: well-being and quality of life. How do you achieve a quality of life? Doing all these things. And I just, you want to answer any more questions? Because I want to make sure to let you know that we are here for any other questions. You can turn to us personally, and we would be more than happy to share from our experience. We all feel this is a real mission ideologically. If only one child will suffer less or have a better future because of any of the insights we have just shared, we did our deed.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
I would
our mission is accomplished.
Yeah, mission accomplished.
I would like to thank you all. In our few meetings, I have learned a lot. And as I told you yesterday, I've already implemented one thing. So I do thank you very much.
Sarah, we would also like to thank you for choosing us and for helping us get here. We wouldn't have been here if it wasn't for you.
Yeah.
Sarah Kopilevich, that also celebrates her birthday today.
With my privilege. And thank you again to listening and sharing that make us get together under difficult circumstances. Thank you.
Maybe also we should thank the International Association of Academies of Child Development for enabling this listening and sharing process all over the world. So that's also a great thing.
Great, thank you. Hopefully some of this will go forward. So we'll have this recording now will be saved on the website, so it'll be great to share for people that couldn't be here today. I am going to have to end the session now because I've got to be in the next one and it's on my Zoom account. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Thank you to you, Jenny. Thank you.
Thank you. Great to meet you all. Bye-bye.